A lot of people talk about this. Most people don't even know what the difference is, let alone which one is better for their business. OEM, original equipment manufacturer, or ODM, original design manufacturer. Today we're going to dig into the difference, let you know what the differences are, how they will affect your business, and hopefully give you a better idea of what's good for you. Now, before we dive into what the differences are and compare, let's first make sure that we understand what we're talking about. OEM, original equipment manufacturer, often sometimes simply called white labeling, is when a factory has the necessary molds and toolings to make your product, or rather their product, and then all you're going to be changing to it is maybe putting a logo on, maybe changing up the packaging, maybe changing the color. You're using their equipment to make products that are going to be better suited for your brand. ODM, on the other hand, is original design manufacturing, which means that there is no equipment that exists for your product. ODM is when you have a brand new idea that nobody has made before and you need to manufacture it. And in order to manufacture it, you need to set up the equipment, the tooling, the molds, etc., that are required to manufacture your product. So now we've described what these two things mean. Let's dig into which one you're going to be better suited for. So we're going to go over 5 different comparables for OEM and ODM that'll help you make a better and more informed decision. Number 1, customization and design. With OEM, you're going to have access to the factory's existing molds and toolings and other equipment required to manufacture your product. The only things that you'll be able to customize are simple things. Logo placement, color, maybe finishing, packaging, right? The simplest of things to a product that you can change. This is great for people that have existing brands and want to add more items to their e-commerce website. It makes it incredibly easy to expand the amount of SKUs that you offer as a brand. Now, what you can do with those SKUs is limited. Whereas with ODM, the world's your oyster. If you want to change everything from head to toe, from scratch, well, now that's within your purview. Number 2, IP, and this is a big one. When you use an OEM solution to manufacture your product, the equipment, the design, the tooling, the IP of the product is owned by the factory. Everything is in the factory's hands. So if they want to stop selling it to you, or if they want to copy your idea and sell it more aggressively than you, well, they can and they probably will. You're using their design to sell the product. And while that comes with many advantages, as we'll continue to list below, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, is that somebody else owns that product at the end of the day. Somebody else can sell that product. Somebody else can distribute that product. Right? Whatever protection you have with ODM is almost completely erased when it comes to OEM. Now, the flip side of that argument is ODM. If you do things right, if you structure your supply chain in a way that maintains some amount of security or privacy for your product, well, then the entire IP is completely owned by you. You have the protection. That doesn't mean that people won't copy your product, right? All it takes is somebody to buy your product, get some engineers, reverse engineer it, and make their own tooling. Then it would go into the hands of IP lawyers and the law. But that probably will happen if you get your product to a certain level of success. However, owning all the molds and tooling equipment required for your product will give you a massive head start when it comes to building your product and creating a brand that is everlasting. Number 3, speed to market. If you're looking, as mentioned earlier, to give your potential customers more shopping cart items that they can be adding on your e-commerce site. If you're looking for quick fixes to grow your business. If you're an excellent marketer and you don't know what you're doing with products and you don't have any ideas, OEM can be a great way to get product to market extremely quickly. Now, There's a lot of downside to that, as we mentioned and will continue to mention. But when it comes to number 3, speed to market, OEM is absolutely the best route. However, if you have the time and money to spend to build your product, if you're an entrepreneur who has great ideas and has the access to the required capital that it'll take to build a product completely from scratch, well, avoid OEM and go with ODM. We're not here to make the decision for you. We're here to give you the ammo to make the decision for yourself. Number 4, the costs. If you're looking to get to the market as cheap as possible, OEM's great, right? You have factories who have already invested, developed, designed, made the toolings. You can be pumping product out very quick, as mentioned, and very cheap as well. Having said that, if you want to do OEM, it's going to take a pretty serious contribution out of your wallet to get that product going, right? Getting the tooling developed, developing the design files, engineering, right? There's all of these different costs known as NREs, non-reoccurring engineering fees, that go into building a product from scratch. So if you're looking to get to the market for as cheap as possible, OEM is probably your route. Now, that's short-term cost, right? Long-term, if you invest time and money into building an OEM product and someone comes along, scoops the idea and builds it for cheaper than you, faster than you because they have more money, well, then what does that cost? Right? I think that's an entirely different discussion that we'll tackle in a different video. But long-term costs of doing an OEM product are significant when it comes to headaches, when it comes to potential legal battles, when it comes to just the nuisances of building a product that other people have easy access to. So that one's a bit of a toss-up. Obviously, short-term OEM is tempting. But for me personally, long-term, I think that taking that shortcut and getting to market quickly and cheaply is not the best approach that will have a lot of negative consequences in the end. Finally, number 5, quality and consistency. While those two words might seem like they're basically hand in hand and have a lot in common, to me, the reality is actually quite different. With OEM, you're going to see consistency. This is a product that is tried and true, right? At least it's been made and sold and probably coming off the assembly line at a pretty quick rate. However, when it comes to quality, you can't really control the quality because it's what's done is done. The factory has already made the molds, has already made the tooling. While it may be consistent, the quality is almost completely out of your control. On the flip side, with ODM, if you're going to make your own molds and tooling, well, you have no guarantee that the quality is going to be there. You have no guarantee that the consistency is going to be there, but it's all in your hand. Right? If it's not there, it's your fault. Now, whether that's your engineer's fault, a freelancer you hired, an agency you hired, that's a separate debate. But it's still within your grasp to make a higher quality product that comes out consistently, but the onus is on you. So be prepared that if you want to make a high level quality, if you want to start your toolings and your molds from scratch, and make the highest quality product in the upper echelons of product, you can, but you got to do it. Ultimately, the choice between an OEM or an ODM on your product adventure is going to be your choice. It's going to be up to you. Hopefully, you've got a better understanding of how these 5 different topics are affected based on what you do decide. OEM is going to be quicker to market and have some cost savings. On the flip side, ODM is going to offer you a lot of customization, and it's going to be much better for IP protection. There's a bit of a toss-up when it comes to quality and consistency. So whatever you're doing, make sure that you think about these points and really weigh out what is your priority, right? What is the main importance for you as you begin this journey? That's it for the comparison of OEM and ODM routes. As for you, hopefully this helped you make your decision. If you have any questions, I'm always happy to help. Drop a line below. See you in the next one. Peace.